Hi everyone, and welcome to our first HR and Digital Careers Meetup, powered by Gründerszene Job Board. Maybe some of you wonder what is Gründerszene, what is Job Board? Not sure. So I want to give you a short introduction first, okay? Well, Gründerszene is the leading online magazine about the digital economy in Germany, and we have around 1 million readers per month. And the job board is an integrated part of this magazine and should be your first choice when it comes to digital jobs of the startup scene and also from corporates. And if you're looking also for different employer branding measurements, we can help you. So if you're interested, just come up to us, talk to us, and we can give you more info about that. We wanted to create a special platform to connect and inform recruiters, experts, interested people about the latest HR and digital careers trends. So here we are. And it's very great having you here. Thank you all for coming. We are very happy and also very proud to announce that we will establish this series of meetups in the future. So if you're interested and want to stay up to date, then check out our meetup group, please. Our program for tonight includes 4 inspiring speakers. We will have short discussion panels after each talk, and after that you have enough time for networking and connecting. So we're going to start with Anna Ott. She's an HR expert from Hubraum, and her topic is alternative and experimental hiring processes. Following this issue, we are going to have Søren Winter, and he's from HR Transformation and Technology Partners, and he's going to inform us about how technologies are going to change the recruiter's role. After that, our third speaker is Theresa Sommerfeld. She's the founder of All About HR Law, and she's going to present how growth can be managed from an HR perspective, and also which other aspects are important regarding your recruiting expertise. Last but not least, we are going to have Sergej Zimpel from ProSiebenSat.1 Media on stage, and he wants you to come out of your cave and explains how modern acquisition works. So yeah, sit back, have a good time, and enjoy. And then Anna, the stage is yours. Ja, liegt alles da.
So hi. Cool, there's a lot of people. Someone told me it's going to be a 400, and I was just like, oh shit, didn't prepare that much. Let me stand here, because otherwise this is kind of annoying with a light. So my name is Anna. Thanks for having me. It's a bit weird to be the first person on stage with this new format. I'm going to have like 10 to 15 minutes, I was told, to tell you about what I did in my current job. So my current job is that I work for a company called Deutsche Telekom, and they have, like most of the corporates, they have a corporate incubator program. Some of you have stumbled probably upon Hubraum. My role is that I'm the HR expert to all the startups in the portfolio. So I consult them with all HR or people-related issues. This is what I get paid for. I also do a lot of other stuff that I get paid for, but I also do stuff that I don't get paid for. One of them is killing CVs on a professional basis. No, I'm not kidding, by the way. This is actually what I do. But I'll tell you more about this. I also want to tell you that because I'm actually kind of lazy when I do attend meetups like this. So this is a URL you want to keep in mind, because you can instantly download my presentation and you don't have to take notes or remember anything. Also, you will find a slide deck that is more than the slides I show you, because I normally do this kind of talk that lasts an hour, but I don't want to bore you with all the details and the endless arguments against CVs and why they all should be dead. So you can find the full stack there. I see you take pictures, that's really cool. Yeah, go download it. I can track you now that I know that you download it. So what I actually am trained to do, I've been working in HR somehow combined with the digital companies and startups for 16 years now. Kind of makes me rather old, feel that I'm not. Anyhow, in these last 16 years, I've been exactly trained to do that. Most of those people in the audience who are HR managers know what I speak about. So you're trained to write down cool job descriptions that are appealing and super unique and la. And then you go out and try to find talent that matches exactly what you came up with the minutes before. Copy-paste work, and then you find a CV or a LinkedIn profile or a Stack Overflow candidate or whatever. And after 16 years and probably thousands and endless CVs I've read, I always felt that there's something wrong, and I wanted to stop it. There was an immediate moment in my life when I did that. I was in spring. I actually spent a lot of time in the car commuting with my toddler son and taking him to daycare back and forth. I listen to a lot of books, so whoever is here from Audible, I'm actually the biggest fan of you. The only way I can consume science and stuff is Audible. So I listened to the book that I can only recommend. It's called The End of Average by Todd Rose. You also find that in the full slide deck version of it. So I listened to it and I thought that really there's so much truth in it. I want to kill CV because I don't want to measure people against averages and like academic degrees and what kind of universities people were able to attend or not allowed to attend to and stuff like that. And I called a friend of mine. She works for a really cool startup. It's called Viasto. Her name is Sarah, and she's a really genius. And I called her and said, I want to kill the CV kind of, but I don't know how to do it, so we need to figure out something. She came in next day, and what we did is kind of this. We said that let's start hacking into our content management system of the website, hubraum.com/jobs. So I didn't ask anyone in my company if I should do that or didn't start presenting it to our work council of Deutsche Telekom. I just hacked into my content management system, changed the website and said, people don't, if you look at our website, it's still on there. People don't apply with CVs. We don't care too much about prestigious universities anymore, or academic degrees, blah, blah, blah. We just want to get to know you. And we also don't have any job descriptions anymore. So if you're kind of interested in working in Hubraum or our portfolio ecosystem whatsoever, just drop me a line and send me whatever kind of information you want to have. And actually people do. They sent me pitch decks. They sent me really cool graphically designed documents. They just sent me prosaic texts. Like some of them somehow would deserve a Pulitzer Prize probably, but they don't send me CVs anymore. Some of them do, but I don't read them. So I don't look at the CVs anymore. I also don't just go on LinkedIn and look up their profiles there, which would probably just not make any sense. So what we did alternatively, and this is just like a very extreme experiment of replacing a CV with something else. So my approach was doing a video. It could be anything else. There's startups out there who just ask people to send in projects or portfolios or whatever. I asked them to do a video. So they have to record answers to 7 questions Sarah came up with. All candidates will have the same questions, by the way. So everyone has the equal choices. So obviously, maybe a senior candidate or an intern, a developer or a marketeer. It doesn't matter, so everyone has to answer the same questions. They're obviously not skill-related, though. So I don't know if I put them in here. Yeah, they're there. So I will come back to that in a minute. So everyone has to answer these questions in a tool, and then I will consume those videos. On average, that's 8 minutes. 8 minutes of a person that sits in front of a webcam, no matter where they are or no matter when they did that. And I would just look at the videos. And then I would decide whether I want to have a one-on-one interview and look at their skills and ask them about the job that they applied for or what kind of job they actually want to have. Or if I refer them to some hiring managers, or if they get referred to one of our startups directly, if I need further information, etc. So I just actually changed the process that we all know, where you would screen a CV for 10 seconds, and then you would have like rejection or probably phone screen interview segments. But I just have more information from every candidate upfront due to the 8-minute video. Unfortunately, for data security reasons, I cannot show you one of those videos. But if you want to apply it, you can record your own. So let me just keep it simple because I'm a very simple person. So someone writes me an email, everyone gets the invite, explaining of the process, blah, blah, blah. Actually, funnily, most of the candidates, I did a survey with the candidates. You'll find some of the information that in my long version of the presentation. Most of them found it really more personal, more... how did they call it? They found it more caretaking and encouraging were words that they used. So it was really kind of interesting to see how they found that. You have to know, by the way, that most of those prestigious university people that applied before, they didn't apply anymore. So we didn't get any applications from WHU or HEC anymore. They just went straight to Rocket, probably, or somewhere else. And have great careers, and we have all the other great people. So everyone gets the same interview. I watched the videos. Cool thing about it, you can do wherever you are. So I actually watch most of the videos just at home, on the couch. It's not scheduling interviews and being in the office in the midst of the day. Oh, just another interview. It's just like, okay, at home, on the couch, watching like 10 to 15 videos in a row, and then thinking about the candidates. So as said, then I will follow up. So I just iterate this. So obviously, I share these questions with everyone. I keep telling about this new process. So I have to change these questions now for the future candidates that are going to apply to Hubraum. You can steal them. Whoever is in HR likes one of those questions. It's yours. It's my gift to you. Best question ever is, how do you define work? Define what work means to you. Best question ever. I don't know why I never came up with that question before. Best question, killer question. For startups, really good question, by the way, is this one. Imagine you have to explain to your grandparents why you want to work for a startup. What would you tell them? Gives you really good insights on how they perceive startups. Really cool. Some candidates said that, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so since my grandparents, everyone has run companies, I actually don't see myself as an employee. I've not been raised to be an employee, so it's actually natural to me to become a founder. Really cool candidate. And others, they say, it's just like somewhere I can hang out and be cool and go have parties, and not such a good candidate, probably. So really good. But I need to tweak those questions a bit further, especially since, everyone knows now about my questions. But these are the questions they have to answer. Also, I have to tell you that in that tool, I define both prep time and answer time. Really mean some of those questions, people have only 30 seconds to prepare. So it's live, it's just one take, they can't prepare. It's just like they log in, and then there's this question, and 30 seconds later, they need to come up with an answer, and there's just 1 minute to answer. Really mean. But you can tweak that if you want to. If you want to be more nice or less, you can do that. So this is how my day looks like. No ugly formatted CVs anymore. People. But I have to also tell you that after 180 videos that I watched since April, I don't look at the videos anymore. I just watch probably the first 30 seconds, and then I just listen. By the way, also, every candidate has the possibility to just put a sticker on the webcam and just record audio if they don't feel comfortable in front of camera. But since most of them are really young people, so it's our generation Snapchat, they just feel really good in front of a camera and duck face, and that's good. And some of them really dress up, sit in an empty room and take down all the pictures in the bag. And the guy on the right is not a developer, by the way. He's a really bright person from Colombia. But he just was in his dorm, I guess, or wherever. And some of them are really nervous and some of them not, but it just doesn't care. I just don't care. I just don't judge them due to their personal behavior. I just look at what they tell me about themselves and how I can connect to what they want to do. It's all about motivation, ambition. So whoever of you has read Daniel Pink's book, Drive, raise your hand. If not, you should read it. Todd Rose, end of Everett, write it down. Daniel Pink, Drive. It's about intrinsic motivation. This is also what we stole. So it's about motivation, what people want to do. It's about how much autonomy someone needs to be motivated. It's about what they want to achieve in life. Some kind of purpose that they follow, probably. But it's not too philosophical. And I actually fell in love with a lot of those candidates. This is also why my job became so much better since I did that. Before that, I was just deleting emails and sending standard rejection letters. And now my colleagues at work, because I work in a co-working space, so everyone sees what I do. And I was sitting there with a large grin on my face, and everyone was like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Yeah, just look at this candidate, he's so good." So I fell in love with a lot of those candidates. I had most of the ones I really fell in love with. I couldn't hire all of them, but I wanted to hire a lot. Really a lot, because I wanted to be so nice to them. All my rejection emails got so personal at some point because I really wanted to tell them how I felt about them. It didn't take me so much longer. It was just more connecting. So everyone, proper HR people always tell me about the efficiency of that. They say, yeah, but it takes so much more time. It just doesn't. It's just like I tweak the process, so I do have more work in the first step of the process, but the outcome is so much better. And the best part of it, you don't oversee candidates, because there's no way you can. If you oversee a CV because you don't understand the CV, or you don't connect to what they say because you don't understand the title, you don't know about the company names that are in it, or the CV is really badly formatted and there's a lot of spelling mistakes and stuff like that, you just put it on the wrong pile of people. But now you have to listen to someone for 8 minutes, and you cannot oversee talent there, I find, personally. It's just my personal opinion. And also, I speak to less people in person, like the one-on-one interviews get less, but they're more efficient because I already know a lot about them. So side effects. Some people might be offended by this kind of process. They don't apply anymore. They don't want to have videos. They just want to hand their elite university CV like they do everywhere. And they just like, oh no, it's different. I don't want to do that. So there might be people who not apply to your company anymore. I find that not really a loss, not offending, but I find that different people apply. Since we had that change of the process, more international people applied. Before that, most of the people that applied were students from France, Germany, probably some English. And now I hired people from Myanmar and Namibia because they just felt that they have a chance now. So you cannot do that with all candidate segments. Obviously, if you ask a developer to record a video, he will say, "Go yourself. I don't want to do this." But I'm doing it with mostly interns, like people who are openly job seekers, young talents that are kind of eager to do this. So this is a good segment. Senior or executive wouldn't do that either. It requires a radical change in processes and also in your mind, and also the minds of the hiring managers. One of my hiring managers hated it. I remember that I had a conversation with him about a candidate that he wanted to interview, and he said, "But yeah, I'm going to have this interview later. Can you send me his CV?" I said, "Well, if you would have listened, I would have told you there's no CV." "Yeah, but I really need this CV. It's all good on marketing, but I really need this CV." I said, "No, there is no CV." He said, "But I cannot do an interview without a CV." I said, "Yeah, you can." I did. You can. And then I felt, well, he's probably not trained to do that, so I have to train him to do interviews without CVs. But this is a different story. But now he's really a great ambassador of that process. He's like, "Yeah, Anna, I've told people about it, and they think it's also cool what we do. I really like the idea of it." So he turned from someone who was really kind of indifferent towards. I would not say he was against it, but he was kind of, does it really make sense? He's totally on it. He totally adores it now, which is good. But it took me a lot of time to do that. Also, I would have not expected so many people applying to that different process when I launched it. I didn't even communicate a lot. We changed the website text on the career page, and then we Twittered it and Facebook. And then I had 70 applications in my inbox in a week. Normally, I get like 15 to 20. So the unfortunate thing is, after I changed it, I actually went on holiday. And my inbox was like full of people. But it was more fun than ever. And you have to readjust the process at some point. So within the process, as I said, open experiment, I had to make some tweaks here and change some questions there, iterate with the prep times and answer times a bit. So you have to be kind of agile. It's not like you can set it live and then it's the way it is. You might want to move back and forth a bit. And yes, unconscious bias is still a thing. It's everywhere. Everything we do is kind of biased. So it's not less biased, it's kind of differently. But I feel that I'm less biased because I don't know anything about those people. Don't know their nationality, don't know when they're born. If they would put a sticker on it, I wouldn't even know their skin color and stuff like that. So actually I find it more inclusional and less biased than a CV. As said, this is the extreme version. If you feel that you want to try it out, I can only recommend you doing it. You can also use different things for different candidate segments, like portfolios, projects, whatever you feel is best. You can also use bots instead of videos. So go build one. So this is my partner in crime. If you want to check out that video solution that we use, this is this. Also, she's a genius when it comes to making up really mean questions. And I also, by the way, think that job descriptions are there too, because this is the only consequence that there is. I could talk about that later, but I don't. But I would come back to it if you want to. So let me just more here. And if you have any questions now, I don't know about the time though. It's kind of good, I guess. So questions. Opinions. Who wants to record a video right away? Yeah.
You tried your video approach as an alternative to sending CVs or just as a replacement? Oh, thank you.
No, it's the total replacement. I don't do CVs anymore. So as I said, whoever sends me CV, I will not have a look at it. They will get an invite to do the video either or.
Thank you. I mean, thank you. The interesting question for me would be, did you measure anyhow how the people were doing the jobs that you were recruiting for? Mm-hmm. You know, so did sort of the quality of candidates, was that affected? So
we still do that, but it's just not due to the CV. You can still do reference checks, for example. You can still ask former employers. You could still do trial works. You could still ask them to send in some projects. You can still do really mean assessment center structured interviews. It just replaces the first step, which is the CV. So the gate is just like different. So there's no CV upon which I somehow judge or misjudge a person. It's just I get to know the person and their motivation before I get to know their skills. Whereas in an old approach, I would know and judge about their skills before I know about their motivation. And since we all know that careers are becoming more and more less and less linear, and you can be a controller today, but you want to go into SEO marketing tomorrow, that's not in a CV. It's just like we don't know about what people want to do in the future. We just look at the present and the past. And this is what I felt there's something wrong in a digital age where people reinvent their careers all the time. And they don't have any opportunity to tell people about it. This is why I want to ask them about what you want to do next and what is it that I should know about your motivation before I judge upon your skills that are useless anyways, because we all know also that 85% of your skills that you have now will be irrelevant in 5 years from now. So who am I to judge about what someone has studied 10 years ago? It just doesn't matter for what we do in our digital segment. Probably. Would be different for a doctor, kind of, hopefully, or a lawyer, but I don't recruit those kind of people.
Yes, I think my question is more or less this similar, but after you hire the people, the performance. And have you measured the performance of this kind of people that you recruit in this way with respect to the standard way?
It's equally different. No, it's equally the same to when I have judged them about the CV, probably. They're great performers, they're not so great performers. But there's just a hiring decision that is after I made a structured interview process or whatever I did. So there could be people that had an outstanding video but still would be low performers and the other way around. But the same is for CVs. It's just that I don't oversee the really good ones, the potential ones. But I have to say, the funny thing about it is in working with those people is that you don't know about them. So actually I had a conversation with one of our interns today and I asked him, because he just started this week, I asked him about actually what he did before he started working with us. And he said, yeah, did you know that I went to San Francisco? Oh, no, cool. Oh, you worked in Africa? Oh, interesting. So actually you get to know your colleagues in a different way because it's also more exciting. It's not only the hiring manager who knows everyone. It's just like everyone is exploring everyone in a different way. But also, yes, sure, there can be underperformers or low performers or whatever you might call them. There's a question in the back.
So many questions. Let's start there.
Hi. Do you have any feedback how people feel who are rejected after putting in so much effort of actually showing the face and stuff? How do they feel?
So the funny thing is that I also was kind of uncertain about how people would reject to that kind of process. So I made it super clear in all steps on the way. So I actually changed the complete candidate experience of the whole hiring process. So for example, if you apply at Hubraum, there will be no thanks for applying, dear candidate anymore. People will not be addressed as candidates. There's no such a thing as thanks for your application. It's just like thanks for reaching out to us and for interest and stuff like that. So the whole communication has changed, which I found kind of natural to do. And also, since all the emails get more personal, they all have a more personal touch. And also I found, so this is in the long version of my presentation, I also found a cool way to kind of solve that problem, because they put an effort in it. It takes them 15 minutes only, by the way, to record a video, because they have to do a technical setup and then recording those answers is just like 15 minutes, which is not a lot of time. But anyhow, so actually I built a cool strategy of talent pooling around it. Most of the candidates will not be rejected. Most of the candidates will just be, I don't have a job for you now, rejected, but I will get in touch with you later, because since I know so much more about those candidates, I can actually relate to them better in the future, because I have more information than a CV. So I can talent pool them in a better way, and therefore I think none of them felt really rejected. They're still part of our ecosystem. We have a great newsletter that they all applied, by the way, and that has risen in how do you say that, in subscriptions a lot since we changed our process. So I don't feel that it's less personal. It's actually more. It's better. But also this is why I did the survey. So you find some of the results of the survey that is still ongoing in my other presentation, in the larger version of it.
When you were telling us about the hiring manager who didn't like the approach in the first place, you mentioned that the interview is now different. How is it different? The interview that the hiring manager is doing with the candidate.
Want to change for this one? Could you pass that?
So the hiring process is the interview process is probably different, because you cannot just start, yeah, I've got your CV and I've seen that you worked for company XYZ now. It's more of like, okay, tell me about you. And then I have to live react. It's not that you can still have standard questions. But then again, you have to react more to what the candidate actually says, and not just like go down your list of questions that you have prepared in the first. You can't prepare as much, which makes it more of a conversation and less of an interrogation. This is probably what I really liked, but it requires a different set of skills and a different kind of behavior from whoever does the interview, maybe a hiring manager or an HR person. But you also get different information then, because you have to really ask and understand something that you thought understood from a CV that's not there. You have to really ask for it. So you have to ask questions more thoroughly, which I liked. But not everyone does that. I meet a lot of hiring managers just go down their question list and tick, 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 tick. Cannot be that lazy anymore. It's probably what I wanted to say.
Is there any idea to put a filter on these videos? Because I was thinking about now maybe there are people applying who are very interested in, and maybe in the future, like in a year when everybody knows about that, it's like, oh, I just now apply and let's see what happens. And then you have to see like thousands of videos a week.
You mean to have less people do the video?
To have a filter on people who are maybe qualified in skills before you say, no, we don't want them, because you have...
Yeah, that's a question of talent pool strategy also. For what I do, because I cater a portfolio of companies, I want to have as most candidates as I can. And since I'm not recruiting for specific skill-related jobs solely, I want to have those doors as open as possible, as wide open as possible. But you could actually do that differently, I guess. You could just like say, okay, have a skill check first and then a video. Or you could have to answer like with a bot, like 5 questions, availability probably, or stuff like that. And then you could invite only few of them to a video. You could definitely do that. Sorry, that's probably the last question, I guess. Lucky you.
Thanks. Did you experience a difference in the loyalty of the candidate when it went to the video kind of hiring process compared to the normal process? Do you have any experience on that? Like how long did the employee stay? Did it have any effect on him?
So I would be happy if you asked me the same question a year from now, because since the process is so young, we just did that in April. I wouldn't be able to tell. But I would hope that we have a better filter of hiring people because we hire people more for their cultural and behavioral pattern than their skills. And this is probably why we can give them a better home than they find elsewhere, where they're just hired for their skills, but they don't feel welcomed at all. So it could be different. It could also be totally weird. So let's speak in a year. And I say bye-bye. Thank you.